The Adam Smith Awards are recognised globally as the industry benchmark for best practice and innovation in corporate treasury. With this podcast series, we're going to take a deep dive into each of the winning solutions of 2021 and hear from the creators who made it all happen.
Hello, I'm Sophie Jackson, Joint Publisher and Head of Strategic Content at the Treasury Today Group. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the winner and the highly commended winner of the Best Risk Management Solution category. Risk continues to be top of every treasurer's agenda, from foreign exchange risk, counterparty risk, commodity risk, and interest rate risk through to cyber risk, reputational risk, and supply chain risk. All are covered here. It feels like corporates have never had more risk to manage, making this an ever-increasingly critical responsibility for the Treasury function. First of all, our overall winner in this category. And the overall winner in the Best Risk Management Solution category is Jarmo Nurmi, Corporate Treasurer at Wärtsilä. Congratulations, everybody.
Hi, my name is Jarmo Nurmi, acting as a head of Treasury in Wärtsilä Corporation, Helsinki, Finland.
Hi, my name is Ardo Özdemir, and I'm acting as a solution manager for automation, artificial intelligence, and RPA for our treasury in Wärtsilä Corporation, Finland, and I work under Jarmo. As the people who worked on the actual development and implementation of the service, I think winning this award is a very nice validation to reap the benefits or the rewards of work and to see that it come to fruition. So it was very satisfying to win the Adam Smith Award for us, everyone in the implementation team.
We participated to the, nomination with our bank account validation service, which is one of many initiatives that we have had in Treasury area. And this is, of course, something that we have been developing together with Nordea, and we have actually made a good progress, good outcome there. And this is actually something that Nordea Bank turned into a product. So I think that this is even something that with which we can actually make a difference to the whole corporate community and helping also banks to fight against, let's say, the payment frauds. The starting point for the whole exercise from our point of view is the fact that Wärtsilä is truly a global corporate. We have presence in more than 90 countries across the world. We have 200 companies, and because of the nature of our business, we need to be in so many different places across the globe. Then it also means that we will need to get involved with so many different suppliers as well, which basically means that we will need to be able to make payments to them. And there's actually quite big number of suppliers what we have in our SAP vendor master data. And it has always been a very great concern to us to make sure that the payment instructions what we maintain for the suppliers in our master data environment are good and authentic. And it has always been also a problem to validate these bank account details with those suppliers. In some occasions, you might get kind of a good proof of the authenticity of the bank account details to make sure that the bank account really belongs to the supplier. Maybe it is an, confirmation by their bankers, but in some occasions you just need to trust on the, information that you get from the supply contact persons. And we all definitely do know that the cyber criminality is becoming more and more, big threat in the world. The criminals are getting quite intelligent in their all kinds of, fraud attempts. They are fishing for information. They are acting as middlemen, fooling maybe us and our supplier or our customer. So there's a lot of, issues, concerns and risks out there. And we have been thereby thinking of that, how could we actually improve our processes and ways of working so that we could be very, rigid as we can be to prevent these, payment frauds happening. And essentially, it is the SAP vendor master data that we will need to protect from the fraudulent information that we might obtain from supplier if their, email accounts being, compromised, for instance, or if somebody's acting as a middleman in between.
Once the idea was sort of taken on by Nordea to create a service offering, then we were naturally chosen as a partner that will pilot this new service from the get-go. And so we started the ideation phase or the talks with Nordea at the beginning of 2020. And then by the end of the first quarter, we had already settled the questions of what we want to do and how we wanted to do it. And so then it was basically down to technical implementation, where we started a sort of a development team together with Nordea. And while Nordea is, of course, implementing their own service, then at the Wärtsilä end, we were implementing a mirroring service that we will cater towards our own internal resources. And so this development process then took about 5 to 6 months, where we regularly had development iterations with Nordea to discuss problems, to test new developments. And also we have included in these developments our business users, so they can give their own ideas and requirements as to how they would like the service to function. And going over these iterations, then by the end of August 2020, we had the service starting in production in a pilot phase, which then we have continued for another 6 months. And during this pilot phase, then, of course, we tried to deal with the reality of how things work in production and how this new service is then expanding through the Nordea's SWIFT network and how the other beneficiary banks are responding to the requests that we are sending out.
Maybe the biggest learning out of all doing this exercise together with Nordea, developing the API connections, developing the services at our end, and also Nordea doing the same at their end, has been probably around, let's say, the other banks' willingness to respond to these, inquiries that they get from Nordea. And it is slightly surprising because I would think of that maybe all the banks should pay attention to these kinds of things, and they should try to help, other banks and other corporate customers to make sure that the counterparty that somebody is dealing with is really valid counterparty, and also that the bank account details are correct. And that this is maybe slightly surprising, but then that being said, like Arda explained, we have been seeing, let's say, increasing quality thanks to the work that Nordea actually did in the messaging to these other banks, and clarifying a little bit that what the inquiry is really for and what is this, let's say, the background purpose of it, and then also providing, let's say, details about the counterparty and the bank account in a little bit more structured manner, so that the inquiry would be as easy to reply, but then also easy for the other bank to understand. So this is maybe the leading learning point.
I think the foremost learning point has been how to sort of incorporate or get buy-in from like the partners that you can't really influence directly, but as such are very crucial to the success of the service, because we might have, even if we implement the best API service out there possible, if the partners are not responding within the given parameters, then it's all pointless. So that's been one, and we have also got quite a good understanding now together with Nordea how to work with each other, how each other's development cycles work, and what our sort of requirements are when it comes to implementations internally. So I think this will prove quite beneficial for us going forward, as we see that we would like to implement more and more such services together with Nordea and perhaps together with our other banking partners. And maybe another third learning point would be that how to balance the internal requirements against external constraints. So first, when we were releasing this service to our own internal customers through our own internal APIs and user interfaces, We ran into like a lot of questions and requirements that came from the users that maybe we did not expect initially. And those were maybe not perfectly in line with the constraints from the Nordea side, like how the service functioned. So we had to then, of course, negotiate these with our internal partners and then sort of negotiate these again with Nordea to improve the service to fit our needs maybe a bit better. And so that was like the balancing act that we also now learned from, like that I think we will manage better in the future.
Next up, the highly commended award winner in this category. We have one highly commended winner in this category, and that is a team represented by Priya, Shenoy and Enrique Lara, Senior Finance Managers GTFS, alongside Taru Rittamaki and Donora Sardenberg, Directors GTFS, all at Microsoft.
I'm Priya Shenoy, Senior Finance Manager at Microsoft Corporation. My team and I are the highly commended winners of the Best Risk Management Solution Award in the Adam Smith Awards 2021. Microsoft has always preferred to deploy programmatic financing solutions that are standardized across customers and across markets. But in the emerging market, the corporate standard isn't usually an option. In one of our larger emerging markets in the developing world, the public sector entities could not pay for subscription licenses and services before usage. The need to comply with this rule was primarily on Microsoft's partners because all public sector purchases are usually through partners. This would not only affect the potential revenue for Microsoft, but also have a big impact on the working capital of the company's partners in the sector. So our team came up with a very creative solution to collaborate with a local bank who would buy the receivables upfront and provide Microsoft partners the flexibility to pay by monthly or quarterly installments directly to the bank in lieu of those payables that they owed Microsoft. This solution allowed the end customer, which was the public entity, to abide by the new regulation while continuing its digital transformation journey unaffected. Microsoft's partners, on the other hand, were able to match their inflows from the end customer with their outflows, which were regular bank payments, thus eliminating any adverse capital impacts. This solution was really innovative, focused, and tailor-made for Microsoft to resolve customer and partner pain points in an emerging market, and it is a great example of one Microsoft collaboration and partnership with many functional areas that benefited from this opportunity.
A huge congratulations to all our Adam Smith Award winners. And thank you for listening to this episode of our dedicated Adam Smith Awards podcast series, brought to you by the Treasury Today Group. More episodes will be coming soon, featuring other award winners. So please subscribe to our channel so you can stay updated.